New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time Show. Here give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time and the time to talk Knicks with my guys, all right? We're going to talk about the Knicks versus Cavs playoff preview, but you know how we do it here. We do the intros and then we get into it. I'm going to introduce my usuals, as you know. It is the man, the myth, the nut, and the guy with the stats and the facts in the middle right there. Shout out to...
All right, keep in the building. That's on the basketball tonight. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Your sound is kind of low, Ryan. Your sound kind of low, so maybe I'll adjust that a little bit, all right? Next is my man, the Latin assassin, Mr. ESPN contributor, posting, toasting, trivia. You know what it is.
Let's go, baby. Lee Escobedo in the house. I'm here for all the smoke, ready to debate, but also more ready to agree. When Knicks go in the finals, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk the Knicks in the finals. Shots already started. Okay.
Off the top.
Just went right for it.
We got some other favorite.
He went for the money shot immediately.
Let's go.
There we go.
Got that finals energy in the building.
1999?
Yeah, should I wear this now? Should I wear this throughout?
Let's go, Danny.
I don't know if I can do that. Lee, I don't know if I can do that. I gotta leave it to you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
By end of the show, you'll have it on.
Exactly.
Oh man. All right.
All right. Well, let me introduce most of my guests as well. Shout out to my man Danny B, who's most famous for his morning drives on Twitter, and he kicks it with the Nick Wall. Shout out to Danny B. Say hello to people, Danny B.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Jay, I appreciate you guys having me. Lee, Ryan, you already know. Knicks in 6. Let's go.
Let's go. Knicks in 6.
That's my optimism too, because I was saying Knicks in 7, but I like the wave. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna ride it.
All right.
I'm riding it.
I'm Knicks in 7. I guess I'm the pessimistic one in the group.
I get it.
Also, winning, we gotta shout out to a guy with a growing channel who's doing this thing over there. Another Latin assassin, really. Okay, my man George from Into the Nickverse. What's going on, George?
Oh man, it's great to be on here with you guys. I watch you guys all the time. Everybody here, I'm a big fan of everybody.
Likewise,
excited to be here, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah,
this has been an incredible season.
Yeah,
and now we're about to have an incredible postseason, I think.
Absolutely. Yep. Also, gotta introduce, man. I always got love for this kid, man. You don't understand. Doing this KOT show started in 2016 out of my boy's garage, right? Started when Joakim Noah was doing pull-ups off of Phil Jackson's arm to prove that his shoulder was fully ready. And he was doing pods with me and Ryan G back in the day. Shout out to my guy Terry. What's going on, man?
Well, what's up? What's up? Yo, we'll always have that win back in Chicago when Noah and Rose early in the season, but we thought things were going to be good. Oh, yeah. But happy to forget the past. Happy to talk about the future. Glad to be back. Glad to see everyone. Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6. That seems to be the thing
we're
today.
leading
So
with
is
our
everybody
rhymes
in 6
too.
here?
It comes off the tongue.
Yeah.
Lee, you
Knicks in
6?
Yep. Man, I don't know, man. I got to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like I started with 7. Like, can I backtrack? I don't think that's right. You know what I mean?
Too late, Danny.
I'm like internally conflicting right now.
I got you. I'm Knicks in 7
until the games start. You can always change.
Man, nah. If I say something, you know what I'm saying, I gotta stick with it through. You know, I can't be changing up takes and stuff. You know, but it's tough. You know, like we gotta come out and punch them in the mouth right out the bat. You know,
I agree.
Set the tone early. Set the tone early.
100%. I agree with you. So let's talk about tone setting. All right, let's get to it. Knicks versus Cavs. Let's get to some stats and the facts. All right. Knicks versus Cavs on this season. This is how we match up offensive rating. Those Knicks, 3rd in offensive rating. Defensive rating has slipped tremendously. We were top 10, but not mentioned at all. As Jay-Z was said, dropped to 19th. Cavs are 1st. Net rating, though, we're 7th. Cavs are second, points per game, all that shit. Listen, the things I really want to kind of focus on for us, the things that we do well, and the keys for me when we talk about how we beat the Cavs. I feel like we have to keep rebounding, man. The rebounding battle is something that we always dominate the Cavs with, all right? Third in rebounding to the 25th. Those guys have those big guys, but they're like, in school, when I was in high school, we called those guys big for nothing,
Oh,
A little bit.
Talk about it.
The roast starts.
Right.
I had a couple of those guys. I played with a couple of those guys.
Exactly. But I feel like we definitely gotta rebound. We gotta defend better. We gotta keep our turnovers down, but that's how we've been doing it. And we gotta rely on Brunson and those guys to bring us home. So I want to get to your guys and get your thoughts on the keys to winning this series for you. And actually started off with my man Terry. What do you think? Keys to win.
All right, so keys to the series. I've been racking my brain about this one all week long. We're so opposite in so many ways, right? Like our offense versus their defense, right? We're great on the boards. They defend the 3-point line a lot better. They hate transition. We're not big on transition, but the bench could maybe do some work there. So for me, the keys really, like you said, rebounding, but really for me, physicality, right? I think we had come out there in the first game. It's going to be rowdy. Don't forget, Cavs have a pretty raucous fan base as well. It's not like those games are going to be easy. Were they number one in the league at home? I think they were up there, maybe close to the Warriors, but we got to make sure we come out there, get on the boards early, kind of push them around, make sure that they know it's going to be a physical series. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is going to do his thing, right? But we make sure no one else kills us. Darius Garland can't go off. Evan Mobley can't go off, right? I think with our defense, I know, we've slipped, but I think we have another gear. I honestly feel like the talent level of this team was so high, we started rolling. Not to say we consciously switched off defensively. I don't think Tibbs, as much as Tibbs cares about every possession, was nearly as harsh on us defensively as he normally would be, given the kind of run we were on and how we were playing ball, right? Was it winning? Winning is more fun than fun is fun. I think in this case, maybe winning was more fun than defense was fun. I think we have another gear. I do not think that was it. And I think we kind of coasted a little bit, and I think we're going to see, that step up. RJ is a big part of that. I know we're going to talk about RJ as well. But I'm really hoping, we can step up. I think we're going to be much better defensively. I really think the way we ended the season is not this team.
No, not at all. I feel like they almost all collectively kind of took a foot off the gas in a way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They kind of like solidified their spot in the playoffs. All right, we're good. Let's kind of like just get ready for it in a way. But, you don't want to kind of hang your hat on that, going into the playoffs. You want to go in with some momentum. You want to kind of go in a little hot, you know what I mean, in a rhythm. And you saw it up and down, you know what I mean? You didn't get that consistently, to end the season. But Terry's point, I like that. You know what I mean? Like when they were playing at their peak during that 8-game, winning streak, 9-game, like that right there is they were playing to their max potential. Like, and that's exactly what is going to be needed out of these guys. And not just the first round, but if they make it past that every round, right? Like my key thing has been extra effort. Right? Like, because they play defense, all right, no problem. But what's one part of the defense that's been failing? Getting out to the 3-point line. But when guys play with extra effort, every single guy on that floor plays with extra effort. You see those types of plays happen. You see them starting getting out to the line, to defending those shots. You see them getting their arms in passing lanes, right? Picking off steals here and there, pushing the pace, dumping it down the court. Like that's what we need from this team. And that's definitely a big piece of that. That includes rebounding, you know what I mean? Like that includes a defensive mindset. That should be the priority, and I think that's the biggest piece to it. Yeah, the Cavs, are known for their defense, but we also, while we played our best ball, we're a top 3 defense all around in this league, during that period of time. And that right there is what I look at, and that's exactly what Terry just harped on. I think that's exactly what they're going to tap into. They need to, right? I think they got to turn it way up. That intensity's got to go way up.
Josh Hart, just real quick. Josh Hart, playoff Josh Hart. All right, we'll see.
Let's go. That's another level.
All right, that's all I'm going to say. Playoff Josh Hart, first playoff game. All right.
Playoff Josh Hart is definitely something I'm looking forward to. Never been in the playoffs thus far. But Also, one else I'm looking at is Obi Toppin too, because I'm pitching to George right now because George had an impassioned speech while we setting up about Obi Toppin, because it's a situation right now, gentlemen, where Randall is injured and he actually was running full speed today, but he has not had any contact today. So there was no contact drills. So George, what are your thoughts on the Knicks playing without Julius Randle? Because, you know, Obi Toppin most likely will be starting if Julius Randle's out. Do you feel like we can actually steal a game?
I do. I think it's, like I said to you guys earlier, I think it's a lose-lose situation for the Cavs. They're not going to be able to handle Randle, and they're not going to be able to handle Obi for totally different opposite reasons. They're going to have to chase Obi out to the three-point line, and that's going to open up the paint. And we have superior drivers: Brunson,
Cutters,
Hart, even Grimes, RJ. And then they're going to have to try and recover, and they're going to end up causing a lot of fouls. And then those two guys, all you need to do is get one of them to foul trouble, and the game's over. That's I have spent a lot of time, did a major deep dive, because obviously I'm doing this show, and I'm doing a show tomorrow as well, and then another thing. And I'm telling you, I just don't see the Cavs winning this series, any shape, form, any way whatsoever. I just don't see it.
Wow.
Love it. I love it.
Deep into the clutch numbers.
Blowing me away.
Look at this. Look at this. If you think about it, in terms of in the losses, the Cavs have the smallest margin of losses. They are a minus 7.6 in the 31 losses they had, which is the best in the NBA. The Knicks are fourth. They're fourth with a minus 8.8. They're so close. 3 of the games were decided by 5 points or so, pretty much. It just and there's a reason why we won 3 out of the 4 games. And even in the first game, we were winning in that game. We coughed that game up. We didn't hit free throws. We made turnovers.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they have been full strength for 2 of those games. We have not been full strength any of the 4 games, because the first game, it was Evan Fournier started it. Grimes wasn't even available. Hart wasn't on the team. So the prognosticators, when they're looking at this, I don't really think they're doing the work. I heard Colin Cowherd today on the radio, not on the radio, on TV, just the lamest ass take. He was like, oh, because they have a better offense. The Knicks won't be able to contend with their offense. Sorry, buddy, but the Knicks
obviously didn't watch the last game.
The third best offense in the NBA.
I mean, give me a break.
These guys don't watch the game.
That last game.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
We have a better record.
I'm hyped. I'm here to hype everybody up. I think game one is the key. Game one is the key.
Yeah.
Because if we get embarrassed in game, if see, either way, it doesn't matter. Randle doesn't start and we get humiliated in game one, it'll be because Randle didn't start.
It wipes the clean when he starts.
It does.
Exactly.
It does.
Exactly. And if we steal game one without Randle,
it's bonus.
The pressure, all the pressure in the world, despite the Stephen A. rants and all that stuff, all the pressure in the world is on Cleveland to win this series. They're the ones that made the big trade. They're the ones that have been talking big. They're the ones that have the potentially 4 all-stars.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Listen, I just read an article 2 hours ago about Darius Garland talking about how he thinks that they got the best bench in the league. Right, like period.
Our bench is completely.
I can't wait to see their bench. I hope their bench plays a lot. I've been looking at their rotation. One of the things I've been thinking about the most is, we have a great bench. Carry us through a lot of the season. Playoffs, benches are mitigated. Teams do their best to limit that impact, right? But the Cavs still have to play someone. Once you get past that starting 5, Karis LeVert has been really good recently. He's been hitting his shots again. He was playing decent defense earlier in the season, but after that, you're talking about Shetty Osman, who we've seen him kill us before, but still, we got Dean Wade, Lamar Stevens. If Rubio plays, if Nate, there's a lot of iffy stuff there. They're going to be playing Donovan Mitchell a lot, but we can wear them out over the series because we've been playing a playoff rotation for months. Like we've been playing playoff type of basketball for so long at this point. Last thing really quickly, as you were talking, George, I thought of it. We have a better record than the Cavs since the rotation change. And that's a significant period of time. It's like 50-something games, I think.
No, it absolutely is. That's a great point. You know what I mean? Because if you apply that to the whole season, we probably have more wins than 47, right? I mean, realistically. But no, I definitely agree with you there. I just think that it's crazy the narratives that are put out there by national media, because like George said, they don't do the work. You know what I mean? Like if you literally like that take the Colin take right there, like right off the bat, clearly you didn't watch the last game because the Cavs went off in the first half, right? But we know obviously that's not going to last the whole game, and it didn't last the whole game, and the Knicks kept up, and what happened? We won. So it's like that right there is out the window. And yes, it's a 7-game series, but not every game is going to be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just it's nuts, man.
I will say
It's
this.
nuts. What's your biggest matchup? Like what matchup are you watching the most in the series?
I'm gonna say this, and I know Ryan hasn't said anything in a while.
I know. I'm trying to get him.
Right, it's expensive in the corner.
When the conversation with
It's absorbing.
Obi was brought up, I do believe this is a big moment for Obi. People have been talking about X factors for the last week. I have a couple of X factors in my mind. One of them is definitely Obi Toppin. He's gotten some runway now with Randle out, right? And offensively, he's been good. But defensively, though, there's still some problems. I can still see Jalen. I can still see, instances when Donovan Mitchell can put him through pick and rolls and have him defend that way, because that team, the Cavs, they run like the 4th most pick and rolls in the league. And I can also see Mobley trying to go one-on-one on him. So I feel like if there is a chance to get us, it is us trying to figure out how to create offense without Jalen Brunson. And Ryan G, I know you've been like up and down on Obi. What did you think about Obi potentially start?
Actually, I'm not really concerned about Obi in this series. Because the Cavaliers, when they match up against the Knicks, there's a lot of matchup problems for them. And the other panelists, on this chat right now, they pretty much said it, like either Obi or Randle is going to provide problems for them. And Obi did have a good game against the Cavaliers this season as well. So I think Obi feels comfortable when he plays the Cavaliers. And I do feel like the Knicks are going to have a significant advantage, whether it's Obi or Randle playing. I think for me, my X factor for this series is RJ Barrett, because usually in the playoffs, when you go up against teams try to take away your best weapons. So I can see the Cavaliers often doubling Brunson, often doubling Randle throughout the series, depending on who has a hot hand or whatever the case may be. And then when those guys pass out the double teams, more than likely that ball's going to go to RJ Barrett. And I can see Cleveland definitely playing off of RJ Barrett, because they know RJ Barrett's strength is to go to the basket and create in the paint or finish out the rim. So I can see Cleveland trying to force RJ Barrett to shoot in those situations where they either double Brunson or Randle. And I believe that if RJ Barrett can knock in his shots, it's going to be game over. Because if RJ Barrett is knocking his shots, then that's going to force Cleveland to guard RJ Barrett, which gives them less options to double team off of. And I think that's going to give Randle and Brunson more one-on-one opportunities to dominate as well. So my X factor is RJ Barrett. I think if RJ Barrett plays good and gives like 20 points per game and an official 20 points per game at that, I can see this series being a wrap and it being wrapped up in 5 or 6 games.
Man, I'll say this. I think if RJ is not hitting a shot, he's not playing. Like, I think in a weird way, I'm not as worried about RJ this series, because in my head, it's like, okay, he's either going to play well and justify, or Tibbs is going to have the shortest leash. I don't think he'll bench him, but he'll start getting, like, as you said, Elfrid Payton, Keith Bogans type minutes. Yeah, because Josh Hart can play 40 minutes every game. And even like, no matter what, he's going to do stuff for you to win. Right? So if you take out RJ and put in Josh Hart, because RJ is not hitting his shots, Josh Hart is hitting like 50-something% of his
Same with Quick. Same with Grind.
Yeah, same with Quickly. And like you got three guys. You got three guys there. It's an easy bench. You don't kill him. Maybe he still plays 12, 15 minutes a game, but if he's got to hit his shots. Right? He's got to make good decisions, but he's got to defend. I want to see him at least do the things you can control. The things that annoy me about RJ really come more with stuff like that, right? Because I know he could give more effort. He knows he can give more effort. He's a smart kid. So it's a big series for him still, though, because he's got there's a referendum on him right now. Like people have already, I think, mostly shifted to like, I'm not sure. Whereas like,
he's on a most wanted sign, 100%.
Yeah, and now you're feeling like, we made a mistake. Let's get rid of this guy. So for him, we've seen a lot of young guys take a step. and it kind of feels like he's the one we're waiting on still. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But hopefully he makes his shots, man. I hope he got his missing out of his system, like Jason Kidd didn't back in 2013, where he just missed everything going into the playoffs and kept missing. I hope RJ can just come into this game, clear his mind, and do what he needs to do.
I hope the team can recognize that and move away from a cold hand. You know what I mean? At the same time, and recognize it. But at the same time, you don't want them to lose that confidence. But you want to be, see them be smart about how they're processing that. You know what I mean? That information. Man, for me, my matchup is like, obviously they're gonna go throw Grimes on Mitchell right off the bat, right? But the last game, I thought that Mitchell obviously was just shooting lights out regardless. That first quarter, Demons went off, you know what I mean? And it kind of took Hart getting switched on Mitchell in that second half to kind of contain him a little bit, give him a little bit more of a problem. They have that personal relationship too. So it's like, it's not just another guy on the other side of the court, you know what I mean, that he's got to compete with. It's, even if he blocks it out, he's still seeing a guy that there's a little something else to it. You know what I mean? So I think that's effective. So that for me is that matchup too, containing Mitchell, you know what I mean? Whether it's Grimes or who's gonna pick up that, that slack if it's not Grimes.
Yeah.
My X factor's in a very different direction. I'm going with Tom Thibodeau. I haven't been the biggest Tom Thibodeau fan this season. George knows I tend to go off the rails when he's had me on as a guest, and my anger and rage toward him. But the last couple of months, I've really came around because the evidence that he's put before me has changed my mind. He's made really great adjustments to close out games. And I think going up against a coach who's never coached in the playoffs in JB Bickerstaff, who has zero experience, zero well to turn to in terms of situational that he's been in, has never had to adjust or play the chess match. Tom Thibodeau is actually going to his series with an advantage, where he didn't have that advantage against Nate McMillan with the Hawks, who is a new coach, riding the waves of that honeymoon feeling. This isn't the same situation here. Bickerstaff doesn't really have the experience in the postseason, and his players themselves don't have the experience in the postseason, with the exception of Cedi Osman, Ricky Rubio, and of course Donovan Mitchell. So I think maybe Jared Allen might have been that one Brooklyn series, but I'm not going to count one. So I think this chess match between Tibbs and JB Bickerstaff, I'm not trying to dog Bickerstaff, but I think Tibbs is the better coach. And I think that's going to lead us to have our bench used in the right way to just bust the rails off of theirs. Because I disagree with Darius Garland. I think their bench is one of the worst in the NBA.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I love that.
Knicks bench top 4 in plus minus in the NBA. I did see the Cavs bench I think it was like top 7, I believe. I'm going off of memory. For me, is Grimes is another one of the X factors for me, because there was a point where the Knicks were going on this crazy winning streak, right? And we were like a top 3 offense in that little stint. And for us, we've been a top 10 offense because of a few things. I mean, top 10 because of offensive rebounding. We've been top because we've been getting to the free throw line at a very high clip, higher than most. And we also haven't been turning the ball over. But what really started to make us run off those wins is when we started to actually hit threes. We were at the bottom of the league for almost the entire league. We were flirting with 30, 29th, 28th for the entire season. And then all of a sudden we look up, now we're 20th. And the threes from our guys started to tick up. And I think that's why I have Grimes as being one of those guys to look at for this matchup, because I think if we continue to do that and we add the 3-point shooting, is game over for the Cavs. And Grimes has been a guy who's kind of upped his production. He's been shooting like 7 a game or so, and he's been shooting over 40s from 3. And if you can keep that up into the playoffs, then it's a whole another situation. Then it's Reggie Bullock, right? Because he's playing the Reggie Bullock.
They even bring up, shout out to Reggie, but Quinton's another level. He's coming in on fire too. Like, I'm excited to see Quinton Grimes. He's gonna keep Donovan Mitchell busy on the other end, which is good as well. Keep him running around. We'll see what they do with Donovan if they put him on. I know Brunson's gonna try to switch on him a lot, so we'll see how that works out. But Quinton Grimes has the potential to have a big series when they're gonna start trapping Brunson. That ball's gonna swing, and I trust him. We knew all season long, speaking to like our rise, up the 3-point percentage rankings, Quickly and Grimes felt like they forgot, like they lost their powers like the Monstars at the beginning of the season from deep.
Oh yeah.
Quickly couldn't hit anything.
He had a
You
rough
know what I
go.
mean? He was playing well. Like generally, the defense
Oh,
was
the
there,
defense.
getting
He
to the
leaned on
rim.
that hard
Yeah,
the first half of the
hard.
season.
But he couldn't hit anything. And it was kind of, like, okay, he's going to work out of it. Grimes, that lasted a little bit later, but last month, you see what he's been able to do. Quickly's been on fire for months now. These guys are coming in and, kind of to George's confidence. You watch just how we've been playing and what we've been doing to teams, good teams, like great teams. We've been beating great teams consistently for months. A lot of our guys are just not generally thought of or rated in reality as to where they are today. They're thought of as who they were at the beginning of the season, maybe, right? I don't think the Cavs are going to take us lightly, but I still think I don't think people realize what Quentin Grimes is now, right? I don't think people they've definitely come around on quickly, but I still think these guys just have a level they're going to show in the playoffs. It's going to get the national media to kind of even take a step back and say, these Knicks kids are good.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree with that. And for me, I kind of like RJ as an X factor. And the reason is because it's like you look for an X factor to be something you weren't really expecting, right? And then come in and boom, right? And RJ's kind of struggled, you know what I mean, most of the season. And amidst the struggles, the team has still had success. You know what I mean? So it's like if RJ does show up and show out, it's only going to be good things. You know what I mean? Like it can only take them to another level. So I kind of like that as the X factor. But at the same time, they've been moving that ball, right? Like if you go and watch Donovan Mitchell's post-game press conference after the last game that we played, he was saying they were flying. Those guys were flying everywhere, right? Guys were cutting left, right. They've been swinging that ball. The last 2 weeks, we were talking about them kind of taking the foot off the gas a little bit, right? But only in terms of like intensity, right? They were still doing things, right? And assists was a big piece of that. They were putting up 30 plus assists in the last week and a half of the season, almost regularly, you know what I mean? Where they didn't do that a lot, a lot earlier on in the season. So that's another big piece too. These guys, I think, like Terry said earlier, there's another level to it. And I think that they're kind of waiting to unleash it, come playoffs. And man, game one, I think it's going to come out, with or without Randle. They're hungry and they're going to be moving fast with and without that ball.
I agree.
I want to see them kill their bench. I just want, when quickly and hard.
I'm hyping myself up.
I just want to see them just go to the races and destroy them.
Hell yeah, man.
That's why I'm throwing questions at y'all. Everybody's so hyped.
All right.
I gotta throw darts at y'all just to see if I can kill the hypeness. Is there anybody that we overlooking?
What was that, George?
Wait.
Well, I just wanted to chime in a couple things before we move on.
Go ahead.
Because we're all worried about RJ. To be honest, we're worried about him.
I think there's varying degrees to that.
The Cavs got to be worried about Garland. Garland shot for the season. He shot 46.2% and 41% from the three-point line. But in the last 8 games of this season, currently going into the playoffs, he's shooting only 33% from the three-point line. 38%.
Cavs fans, hold on. Cavs fans think that he's on the same level as Brunson. I'm just putting this out there. I didn't start this. I've seen this being floated by Cavs fans everywhere. They think Darius Garland is on the same level as Brunson. I'm just putting that out there. George, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just felt it's good to have context.
I've been hearing that. Is it just, so in terms of concerns, Cavs have concerns themselves because he's one of the key players for them from the outside. If he's not hitting the three, is it going to be all Donovan? Well, that's a big issue for them.
Yeah.
The other key thing, I think, and it kind of ties into everything you guys have been saying, especially you, Lee, with Thibs, and I feel 100% that he's going to do it. But Deuce McBride has been a key player in the 3 wins. He didn't play the first game, but in the 3 games since, he's played in all 3, and he has a 10.7 plus minus in just 12.7 minutes of play. It's just outside, like his disruption that he causes Donovan and Garland out on the perimeter. He gets them out of their rhythm. He gets them out of their comfort zones.
Not only that,
key. I'm just not sure right now if Randle is available. If Deuce is going to play, but I think he's a key factor, like an unknown. We don't know if Thibs is going to use Deuce that way. But all signs point that he should. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be times when heart and deuce and IQ is the backcourt, and that's going to really disrupt. And they might end up playing extra minutes against the starters. So that's going to be an interesting thing to look out for, especially and if Okoro does play. I just don't see his offensive game being anywhere near anything usable. And, he's coming off an injury as well. So his defense is going to be impacted.
I'll say this about
that's why I kind of hope that Randle does not play game one, just so that he's, for sure as 100% as possible before he actually steps on the floor.
I will say this about Okoro real quick. He has not been good offensively. He has not been hitting the three. But as a starter, I've been listening to the Cavs podcast. He's been shooting 40% from three since he was starting. Now, he's been off. He's been injured. We all know how that goes when you come back and you're not in rhythm anymore. So that can plummet. But he's been shooting well from three ever since he's been starting. He wasn't on Brunson the last game. And also even Levert's been actually playing well in closing these games as well. So those guys, the Levert and RJ, Cavs fans kind of put them in the same boat where they feel like Levert can play sometimes, but sometimes he's frustrating and you don't know what you're going to get. They kind of view Levert like we view RJ. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah.
But Okoro's only shooting 36% from the three on just 2 attempts a game. 2.3 a game. So it's not high volume.
They're not different.
He averaged 6.4 points for the whole season.
I think I saw something where he's up there in how open his 3-point shots are. Okoro just hitting an open shot from the corner. Brunson, ideally we'll have Brunson on Okoro, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna float. You'll see what he does there, but I can't see him hitting more than 2 a game. And then he's a shooter like that tends to struggle, I feel like, in the playoffs. Once the lights get a little brighter, a kind of inconsistent shooter, I don't see Okoro being very comfortable, but you'll see. Like you said, we have to see how that knee heals up. Brunson's going to have him running everywhere, wearing him out, hopefully. So I want to see how we, neutralize him on the defensive end to a degree, but, he's not beating us. If we're giving up those open threes, I'm like, okay, we're doing a good job. It's not Donovan killing us or something.
I agree. Danny B, how you on time?
Could be Danny
Green, I gotta be out.
Be an X factor for
but
Cleveland.
I did want to throw out something else too, right? We're talking about our bench and stuff, right? What's another thing that pops to your head? Donovan Mitchell getting blocked at the end of a game by Isaiah Hartenstein. We have weapons, man. You know what I'm saying? And we've already proven that they take care of business against that team. So it's when you hear these interviews with Darius Garland, trying to, pump up his bench and this and that, and, them talking about they think this is not a problem at all. That's them trying to get in their own heads and trying to pump themselves up. You know what I mean? Because in reality, it's the other way around. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they really should be more scared of us than we should be of them. And I think that that's really what all that is they're trying to pump themselves up to get on our level. That's it. And as long as you keep that in perspective, can't go wrong. I mean, just look at the confidence George is just putting out there.
That's the energy. That's the energy we need. That's the energy we need. I love it.
I love it,
looking at the numbers, guys.
I'm just putting out the balance. I'm just throwing in a wrench.
Balance me out.
we gotta consider all sides. You know what I'm saying?
I was curious what you guys felt about.
We wouldn't be doing it, due diligence. We wouldn't be giving this conversation justice without mentioning what weapons do they have. You know what I mean?
Right.
And taking it from that angle. And I thought we did a pretty good job of looking at it from that light too. You know what I mean? We don't have the experience of watching, every Cavs game in and out, but for the most part, got a guy like George who does his homework. I'm pretty confident.
George, how do you feel about Jarrett Allen being that Jalen Brunson likes to operate in that paint area? And Jarrett Allen was out before, and that's when Brunson really got busy.
Jarrett Allen's only missed 2 games against the Knicks. He missed 2 games against the Knicks, and they're 1-1. He's definitely going to be a factor for them, but he doesn't shoot the 3 at all. He doesn't. I mean, if Mitch is on him or Obi's on him, defensively, their life's going to be so much easier for them. He doesn't ever leave the paint area, you know. So and I mean, then there's Mitch, who's one of the best offensive rebounder in the game, and Hartenstein is the 8th best offensive rebounder in the game. So rebounding,
Both.
We own them, and they are one of the best teams at causing turnovers. But we are one of the best, and it's a lot of it is Allen and all that congestion. We're one of the best teams at committing the fewest turnovers. So it's like where their strengths are, we also have strengths. So when it comes down to it, Jared Allen can be neutralized by this team. They can be, because who's he going to guard? Especially when, let's say, for example, it's Josh Hart playing the 4. Allen's going to have to be chasing Hart around, or it's RJ. He's going to be chasing one of those.
He's going to be. He's going to have to be. He's going to be pulled. He's going to be on a
he's going to pull.
Pulling string.
Exactly. And then it's not like he can't be. Look, those two guys, they're going to block shots. They're going to get in. They're going to ruin some great drives that Hart does or RJ does. It's going to happen, but over the course of a series, the Knicks are going to wear them down because we don't have to stop going in. They have to keep stopping us every time we go in, and they're going to get foul calls. I know you get a little more latitude in the playoffs, but even with that being said, we benefit from it as well. So I don't think he's that big of a factor in terms of giving Cleveland that much big of a boost. I think if they get Allen back and we get Randle back, we benefit. Yeah, we get a bigger boost from that.
I totally agree with that. Plus, you got Mitch looking at it like, oh, you're the guy that used to be over in New York.
Yeah, he's taking it personal. Mitch is taking it personal. Yeah, right, Mitch is excited.
Yeah, and I love Jared Allen. I love his game. I love his whole vibe, everything about him.
Oh, definitely.
This is not a great matchup for him.
I mean, they're back up big. We're talking about Hartenstein. What are they? They're going to have to play one of Allen or Mobley pretty much all game long.
Yep.
Yeah. Right? Their backup big is Wade, isn't it? Wade or Stevens when they play him at the 4 or like it's
Robin Lopez.
But if Robin plays, from Cavs fans, it sounds like he's not playing at all. But regardless, we'll see if they're forced to play another big. But a guy like Hartenstein, who's been ridiculous for months now, right? He comes in. What kind of advantage is he going to create? Yeah, George.
Look, he's a key. That's another thing. Sorry to jump on you guys here. Same with because the Thibs factor, because Thibs is the X factor here. Thibs could. That's another way to neutralize those bigs. Give the ball to Isaiah, top of the key, top of the 3-point line. Let guys cut. Let him dribble. Handoffs, pick and rolls. He's going to terrorize them because now he's going to find guys cutting. And when guys are cutting, Mobley's going to have to spin around, and he might get the block, but he might also get a foul. Or we might even get an and one. So and just basically what we saw in the last game of the matchup against Cleveland. That's what we saw. So I think if Thibs focuses this week on unleashing Hartenstein even more, that's another big weapon that we have.
Yeah.
Hartenstein and Obi out there on the 3, and I want to see Hartenstein take a 3 or 2. He buries one. That changes a lot in terms of how the Cleveland's going to have to play him. And then we saw him drive. Remember that? He drove. He just took it.
I love that.
Everybody got secret skills late in the season. But Mitch, if their bigs, one of their 2 bigs gets in foul trouble, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
They're so thin. They're so thin in the front court. Like you said, with Obi and Hartenstein coming in, it could get ugly. So let's see, what kind of whistle we get. If we get an MSU whistle, if RJ finally gets a call, if Brunson keeps getting his whistle, if Quickly keeps getting a whistle. But a couple of fouls on those guys, and they're running with a chicken with their head cut off. You know what I mean? It changes so much for them. The minutes, the fatigue, the bench comes in. Now they're killing you and running. It's like George give me some more confidence, but we just have so many waves of attacks. Right? It's like, once that doesn't work, we're going to do this other thing. And now we're going to keep doing this when they keep coming at you for 48 minutes. You got it.
Nah, our depth is definitely
playing like it.
Definitely something. It's on our second best lineup right now is Jalen Brunson, Quickly, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, and I Hart right now. Second best lineup. Yeah.
Let me throw a
plus
couple
20.
more stats at you guys, just to in support of what I've been saying here, because I look at the team from December 4th onward. It's like before that, December 3rd and previous was a different team. It was a totally different team.
I gotta jump.
Ironically,
Guys.
December 4th was the
Enjoy the
that
rest
game
of
was
the
against
convo. I appreciate
Check
you
it out.
guys having me.
Later, Danny.
What's up, Danny? Have a good
Yes.
one, man.
Great having
You
you,
too.
Danny. So since December 4th, since Thibs tightened up the rotation, benched Fournier, Reddish, and Rose, and started giving Deuce some minutes. And remember, Hart wasn't here yet. Since then, the Knicks have won 37 games, one more than the Cavs. They have a better record than the Cavs since December 4th. And that includes 3 games against the Cavs in that span.
Wow.
And
Right.
when you look at the opponent field goal percentage, the Knicks have the 7th best opponent field goal percentage. The Cavs, who are supposed to be, the best defense, right? They have the 9th best. So we are better at forcing teams to underperform than their normal self than the Cavs do. That's just field goal. Then the turnovers, opponents' turnovers, even though the Cavs are known to be one of the best at causing turnovers, since December 4th, they are number 2, right? But the Knicks, in terms of actual turnovers, since then, the same number. They're 7th with 12.9 per game. So that's a wash. So it's not like they're going. If they force us to commit the same amount of turnovers that they force everybody else, that's just right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I just don't see the edge. I don't see the edges for the Cavs at the moment.
They only have one. Donovan Mitchell is at the shooting guard position is the only matchup that they have a clear advantage. We beat him at point guard, small forward, power forward, center, bench, and head coach. And so I agree with you, George. There's no reason to be fearful of this Cavalier team. They're the most beatable of the top 4. And really, I think if the season would have started differently for both our teams, it's very possible we could even be in the 4th seed. I mean, we started diametrically opposed. They were hot with the addition of Donovan. We really struggled out the gate trying to integrate Evan Fournier. Wasn't until he cut that 9-man rotation in December that things started turning around for us. Only 4 games separate us. And I really believe at Tom Thibodeau, if there's a year for him to exceed expectations, it's this one. He already did in the regular season. Why not keep it going in the postseason?
If there's any pushback I have to offer, the only thing I will say is without Julius Randle being there, because when I look at it, right, I look at it as, you have Donovan Mitchell and you also have Jalen Brunson, right? Those are the 2 high caliber guys. Some people have Donovan Mitchell over Jalen Brunson. I remember watching, shout out to my guys, Telem Alejandro. I remember watching Jalen Brunson cook Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs and then cook him in the regular season. So I know he has the top end athleticism, but for me, I feel like Jalen Brunson has like the mental part of the game down, to get you the other people involved down. He's involved from the 3-point line. He has the overall leadership. I feel like people are sleeping on that, right? My thing is I'm still carping on Obi. I still feel like having Obi being defender with RJ and with Jalen Brunson, having 3 kind of shaky defenders at the same time with a team that likes to run pick and roll a lot, 4th highest rate pick and roll rate. I feel like if you force a switch and you play pick and roll with Jalen Brunson and Obi Toppin, we might be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like at least for a stint. At that point, though, maybe Tibbs plays Hart more than Obi.
Yeah.
Maybe Obi only plays 5 minutes if they start exploit that. But those are the things that I worry about when it comes to this game, and also I also worry about where the points coming from if Jalen Brunson isn't scoring 48. And I can let you guys. I have an idea, but I can let you guys respond to that.
Emmanuel, quickly.
My man.
I think Quickly is already a household name thanks to
Absolutely.
the sixth man of the award candidacy, but I think a lot of people are like jumping on a bandwagon without actually knowing what the footage looks like.
Yeah.
They're about to find out exactly what it looks like in real time, live and direct. Quickly is going to cook this team. You think about the guys who are going to be darting him off the bench, who the primary matchup will be. I mean, these Dean Wades, Lamar Stevens, Ricky Rubio, Raul Neto, these guys, these bums are going to get cut by him. I think Quickly averages close to 20 a game off the bench. I think he's probably our third best offensive player after Randle.
I said it like a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that will continue into the playoffs. And I think he's going to show in the playoffs that he's more valuable to us on both sides of the court than RJ Barrett, which will then open up discussions in the summer on how we consolidate this roster. But most importantly, invest and hand the bag to Emmanuel Quickly. I think he is a very crucial piece off the bench that's going to be a huge plus in the category for us in beating this team in 6.
You guys have
He's
anything to
a
say?
special player. He's a star in the making. He's showing it now. This season was longer. He'd end up averaging like 19 points per game, even off the bench the way he's going. Yeah, he's going to destroy their bench, right? That's why I'm interested to see like how they divvy up those minutes. But, you know, Okoro's spending all that time with Brunson. Once Quickly's on, you know, who are they gonna put on Quickly, right? And you've seen what he's been able to do. Just a microwave. Give him 3 minutes, give you 9 points, right? He's playing excellent defense this season, and he's feeling it. He's just on the ascension, and you can feel like he has like the wind behind his back at this moment, right? It feels like he can do anything. It feels like he's just gonna keep surprising us, taking that next step. You look at what he did in Boston. I know, you know, that game thankfully got national exposure, but that was no small feat.
Yeah.
Short-handed on the road, starting in the most important position. And he just leads, he goes off. That bench is not good for Cleveland. We've spoken about it a bit. That bench is not good. So they're going to get in a situation where, and I hear you, JLS, with the, pick and roll, especially, you're right, you know, Brunson, RJ, Obi, we get in that kind of situation consistently.
Right.
But I feel like Donovan Mitchell hits 2 pull-up jumpers, timeout, and Josh Hart is in.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like a weapon like Josh Hart, right? You could just put Josh Hart in. Honestly, well, Quickly's always going to be 1 or 2 with Brunson as well. So you can put Hart anywhere, 4, 3, or 2 at any point, right? And you're going to get production. You're going to be able to stem the bleeding if you need to. So I feel like we have enough counters for their offense if we do what we're supposed to do, right? And I think, you know, just to the point of their defense, how good they've been, you know, they're great at the rim, they're good defending the 3. We're good we make tough shots, right? Especially, obviously, Jalen Brunson's a big part of that. And we'll see what we get out of Randle eventually. But Brunson, you know, he's made a living off of making shots you didn't think he could make, right? He had Mobley in the blender at times when he dropped 48. I know Lamar Stevens is not Isaac Okoro, of course, but we've seen Brunson cook Mikal Bridges, right? You've seen Brunson cook everyone.
Yeah.
His footwork, Brunson's footwork and movement is so on point. I think once he gets to his spot, it doesn't matter who's in front of him. He's practiced his feet lining up in this position, getting to this spot, and it won't matter. He has blinders on, he can make the tough shots. So I think maybe it'll take him a little time to figure it out, but I think Brunson over the course of the series, such a smart player as well, right? He's just going to start figuring them out more and more and more, and eventually, hopefully, put the foot on the pedal and take us home in 6.
The Knicks Cavs record this season's 3-1 to the Knicks. And that one game we lost, I know y'all watch it. Kevin Love went off from the perimeter, drained like 8 threes on us. And I've said it on the show with Jay Ellis, Ryan. I'm so happy Kevin Love is no longer on the Cavs because that's one X factor that, I mean, as a championship player, so he's been in the finals 3-4 times. He knows what it takes to win. And his 3-point stroke is strong and very hard to guard. And I'm really glad that he's off that team and in Miami suffering over there.
Yeah, Kevin Love hates us.
He does.
He's like Terrence Ross. He's like Markkanen, these guys. Ricky Rubio that time. We've been through it.
And I'm gonna just let you guys know I'm very optimistic about this team beating the Cavs too. But I'm just point guard in the situation. I already knew Emmanuel Quickly is the answer. I'm the biggest Emmanuel Quickly fan out there. But I was just throwing the alley-oop for Lee to slam it early.
My guy.
Daniel Quickly.
My guy. And it looks like we got Ryan G back too.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
Sometimes you just got a point guard when you're the host. You can't just give the answers. You got to fill out the line. Somebody else give the answer.
So in the matchups here, the 4 games, Knicks and Cavs.
Shout out to Ryan G.
The the Knicks bench are all plus. Josh Hart's a plus 18. It's only one game, so it's not that big a deal. Deuce plus 10.7. Quickly plus 9.8. Hartenstein plus 9. Obi Toppin a plus 4. And he averaged 14.5 minutes per game against them, shot 55.6% overall and 45.5% from the three-point line. That's Obi. Randle is a -6 in the 3 games he played against the Cavs. So that's what I see what I mean by this is a lose-lose situation for the Cavs. Yeah, because if Randle starts, it doesn't mean that life is easier for them. It's just different. When you look at the Cavs, Isaac Okoro is a plus 10.7 in 3 games he played. Jared Allen in the 2 games he played, he's a plus 10.0. Now, both those guys played in the very first game, the one that they won. After that, it's Donovan Mitchell, Dean Wade, who I think is an X factor. His size is a problem for us. He can get his shot off. If he's hitting his shot, he's going to be a problem for us. Same with Osman. He's a good defender. But Osman's just even. Mobley's a plus 3.3. Darius Garland is a minus 2.3. The rest of the team and the bench are all minus. So it's reversed.
Yeah.
Our bench are all plus, and our starters are minus. And the Cavs are the exact reverse.
The RJ factor.
Oh God, oh man.
I was looking at
And
numbers
RJ's a
too.
plus player against them.
I'm just being sarcastic,
Yeah.
y'all.
No, I mean just oddly because hasn't been a plus player for the whole season. But
Yeah. It's crazy.
Karis LeVert is a minus, and he played all 4 games, a minus 14.
Damn.
Wow.
Average per game. This is average per game.
Yeah.
That's
Do you guys
rough.
have any closing lineups that you would like to see? Game on the line. Game on the line.
Good question.
Game on the line. I want to do one with Randall, one without. I want to see.
But I mean, Randall's gonna be there. If he's playing, he's in the closing lineup.
Right. If he's playing,
Yeah,
we're because I'm just looking at the tea leaves. Game 1, I'm gonna talk to give you time to think about it. Game 1, we're not expecting to have Randall. You already know the game plan. Jalen Brunson is cooking everybody, right? 4th quarter comes, they're going to want to take the ball out of his hands. So somebody else might have to have the ball. They're taking the ball out of Brunson's hands. In that instance,
That's the beauty of Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah, it's quick. It's every answer.
And we saw it already. It's great that you pointed that out, JLS, because we actually saw it. And there's an argument that I would get in with JD and Keese about this. Like I said, there's going to be a time when the ball in the 4th quarter is going to be in Quickly's hands, and Brunson's going to be the off guard to capitalize on his ability to score without having to fight through pick and rolls and double teams and everything. Quickly can do that dirty work and find Brunson out on.
uh-oh. What happened? Oh, my. Hello? Sorry, technical difficulty, guys. I don't know what happened just now, but my Zoom just crapped that on me. Sorry, guys. Damn. Did I just close it by accident? Well, salute to the chat. I hope you like the show. Had a good talk going with Knicks Cavs. George was about to get in his bag with some more numbers. I'm going to see if I could actually get these guys back in. I'm sorry about that. This is the interesting thing about these live shows, man. Life comes at you fast. Life comes at you fast. All right, let's go. Give me a second. I'm started up. But salute to the chat, man. Shout out to Hector. Shout out to the Orange Knicks fanatics. There's another meeting in progress. What's happening right now? Sorry about that. Wow. So weird. Okay. Hello? Guys, yo, I don't know what happened just now. Hold on a second. Trying to set it up, guys. Trying to set it up. Can you guys actually hear me or not? 'Cause I can't hear anybody right now. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you? I can't hear no one. I can't hear nobody. Okay.
One, then we see what he can do. Let's be real. We've seen him be a decent to pretty good tough shot maker. Sometimes a shockingly good tough
Yeah.
shot maker. One of one of the things I want to see this series has nothing to do with real X's and O's to a degree. I just would love one of those Randle on the road first quarters where he's just hitting things that make no sense. We've seen this a few times this season.
I miss it.
Yeah, and it is it is so much fun to watch, but it's also you can just see the collective shock of the other team that this is still happening.
Yeah.
And he has it in him. I loved how he approached first quarters on the road this season. You would go out there, sometimes a little bit of tunnel vision, but you go out there with a mission to kind of get the crowd out of the game early. So when he does come back, it'll be interesting to see how he kind of approaches that in a playoff setting. It's a big series for him. I have some empathy for him for the last series. I think, his first playoffs, he was judged pretty harshly, was horrible. But there's some things that were going on there. This is still a big series for him, even with the injury. Even on a personal level, I know he wants to show something.
I want to push back on that. I want to hear your explanation for why you would want iHeart over Mitch in a late game scenario. And I'd love to hear the other guy's opinion on what they think about that as well. Give me the scenario where that made sense.
You're going to be disappointed. It was, what's up, JS?
Okay, so I'm gonna just update you guys on what happened. My Zoom knocked out. So y'all was having a conversation. Y'all was having the best conversation ever by yourselves. All right.
How's it still streaming?
So they couldn't hear anything. We came back. We came back around the conversation of you talking about Julius Randle hitting threes like he's out of his mind, and now I'm hearing that you prefer iHeart to end over Mitch. Okay, so
I'm gonna give a caveat.
Wait, before you answer the iHeart thing, or the Mitch thing, can I just say something about Julius Randle in the fourth quarter? It's weird because everything you said, Lee, like just the eye test and just it seems logical. Yeah, you want Randle on the court in the fourth quarter. The problem is Randle commits more turnovers in clutch than
Oh,
any
you
other game.
my conversation right now. Hold on, George.
That's number one. Number two, Randle. Randle only shoots
number one, turnovers.
31% from the field, and which is the worst among the starters. And he shoots 27% from the 3-point line.
Damn.
The one thing he does do is he goes to the free throw line. He does go to the free throw line at a pretty decent clip, kind of comparable to what Brunson gets. We're talking about only in the clutch.
Yeah.
So if they utilize him as a decoy, that's great. But putting the ball in his hands to make him make decisions in clutch time,
No.
that's a recipe. We've seen it.
I think Jay Ellis and I have had this conversation, and he pointed that out. And I counter with, I think he's also really high. He's like top 5 in assists, blocks, steals, defensive and offensive rebounds. So there's a balance there. You need him as a decoy because, I mean, hey, the guy's still
I'm
MVP.
talking about only in crunch time. Blocks
to me,
steals.
That's what I'm talking about. It still matters.
To me,
he gets
that's
rebounds
like
for sure.
Those are role player stats in crunch times. I'm sorry. We not talk about first and second options. He gets the most rebounds in clutch. Like that's great. I love that.
Listen,
but
thing is though,
can you
here's
put the
what
ball in the basket and can you not turn the ball over? Those are the two most important stats. And assist. I'll give that as being the third best stat for a guy who's a closer. I think is points, turnovers, and assists. Personally, for a first.
The other guys are in that top 5. It's all stars. You're talking about stars in the rankings of all those metrics. So there's no role players in that conversation.
I'm talking about role players statistics. I'm talking about the statistics you're mentioning as the best. Like, I feel like those statistics are like, that's cool for role players. But for a first option, you need to be good at putting points on the board, not turning the ball over, and setting up other people. And Randle has been good at setting other people in the clutch. But not even as a primary ball handler. I feel like he sets up other people in the clutch when he gets the ball and he passes to somebody else more so. Because I feel like when he has the ball with 10 seconds left, he's not giving the ball up. He's shooting it. That's what I've seen. But to me, those are the 3 most important stats for a first, second option. And he hasn't been that so far.
I think all those stats are important. I mean, those stats are impacting offense and defense. And I mean, like I said, the guys who are at second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, they're all other stars on other teams. So if you're in crunch time, you're a great player. You're more than a starter. You're probably a top 4 guy on the team. So, but I disagree that assist doesn't mean as much as a rebound or blocking or stealing, because those are impacting shifts in momentum as well.
No, I said assist are. I said
the thing is, Ali, they're not that exciting. His assist numbers in clutch, just in the clutch, they're not that exciting.
Let me just say this about
Randle. A lot of it is counteract because of the turnovers. He tries to make that pass, and then someone tips in a turnover, and I mean, he's been better. He's been better of late, but
marginally, yeah. I mean, listen, Randle. We're not putting Randle in the clutch because we think he's a great clutch player. It's that he's going to be playing. If no matter what happens this series, he will be on the court. Yeah. Unless he's fouled out, he will be playing.
He creates attention.
Like, that's the only So he will be playing. So I mean, listen, he has a chance. It's the pressure's not on him like before, right? If he can get I'm hoping that I was getting worried about Randle. I think this injury in a weird ways might be a blessing in disguise for just his mental health to get to kind of calm down to end the season and hopefully come in here with a good mindset, not get frustrated. The refs aren't going to be making calls. So, where we've seen how that's going to build up. I know once you get to the playoffs, people will try to rile him up just to get him off his game. But more so, the coaches are going to be telling him to do that. It's going to be a different game, but he has a lot more weapons this time. And this year, I thought he did a really good job coming in, letting Brunson take the reins, not too many issues there at all, right? Adjust to his role, but then started playing like, the player we knew he could be. And now he's shooting way more threes, kind of give up the mid-range a little bit, more efficient this year. Even though his raw percentages aren't, as high as that season a couple of years ago, but did it with the fans, right? So this is kind of final step for him this season. He doesn't have to do everything. He does not need to be a hero, but he's got to be solid. And even with I think he misses game 1, like you said, George. I'm beginning to think he's going to miss game 1. So maybe Obi and friends will run them off the court. But when he gets back in, he could turn this. We get a good Randle, then it's like this series is a whole different conversation. We're not even
Absolutely.
expecting. Think about this, right? All of us, we've been talking for a week about this. And yes, because of the injury, but also because of, he can be inconsistent. We know he can maybe, the bright lights, you don't know how he's going to act. We've kind of downplayed Julius Randle, right? Because we're like, yeah, okay, we don't know what we're going to get. If we just get what we've gotten for a lot of the season, then a lot of this analysis between what's going to happen, they're not going to be able to handle him at all. Evan Mobley's going to be in foul trouble like that. It's going to just change everything for them defensively. So
that's the blessing of
we'll
Jalen
see.
Brunson.
Yeah.
But let's get to the other question that we was getting into before we went back to Julius Randle which was who do you prefer to close games, Hartenstein or Mitch Robinson? I think it's a pretty fair, interesting conversation.
I got disclaimer. So I wasn't. What I said both. What I really meant was, in a sense, where Mitch has had games where he's really struggled, foul trouble early. You know what I mean? He's prone to a slight niggle here and there. I am very comfortable with Hartenstein if it comes to that, right? He's going to hit his free throws as well, at least better than Mitch. So I'm not trying to not have Mitch in my closing lineup, right? I think, Lee, I agree with you fully. Josh Hart has to be there. Brunson has to be there. You're going to need Quickly for ball handling. I would love Grimes there. I just like the decisions he makes, but it's tough to build that lineup where if maybe you get Hart at the 4 once, you know what I mean? We'll see depending on what it could be. But no, I want Mitch in the clutch, but I'm just so confident in our center rotation. And I'm so confident in what I see Hartenstein do. And just like, he just elevated that unit as well. And I think he can have a great series because he's going to be facing a lot of tired bigs. We'll see what Dean Wade does. Like you mentioned, George, if he's hitting his shot and he's getting out there, stretching the floor, there's some problems there, but I expect Isaiah to have a big series as well. All these guys have been playing so well just coming into the playoffs. We peaked really at the right time. Obviously, with the big guys, we got to see how they come back from the injury.
Fair.
Knicks since December 4th have the 4th highest free throw rate in the NBA. So
Wow.
that's the kind of stuff that Cleveland's gonna have to contend.
Yeah. That's what's up. You know, when it comes to Mitch versus Hartenstein, Mitch has been the better center for most of the season. Hartenstein has probably been the better center recently. So I can see why some people might start to turn more to Hartenstein. With especially when you have Hartenstein and that combination of Hartenstein and Josh Hart together in particular works pretty well because that's when the passing really goes through the roof. Both guys are able to kind of throw that go ahead pass and start the break, and all of a sudden that pace is a lot faster. So I understand why you go there. But to me, it just really depends on the flow of the game. Like it really does, because there's games where Mitch is just freaking dominant and he's gobbling up every offensive rebound. And to me, when we have these longer centers with the longer arms, sometimes I feel like he fares well against those type of guys versus iHeart. But at the same time, though, there's times where, iHeart kind of can do the same thing where the passing is clicking and he's not fouling. So, like, it can really go by the flow of the game. Like, it really can. Because I've seen games where iHeart just makes dumb fouls every other play. And I've seen games when Mitch does the same thing. So, it's like
their numbers since the All-Star game
depends. Huh?
Their numbers, or the numbers of Mitch and Isaiah since the All-Star game are crazy similar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's what we need. Right, the drop off between Brunson Quickly and Mitch and Isaiah and Hartenstein is going to be, obviously we know Brunson's a better player, but honestly the way Quickly's been playing, it's going to be minimal. It's like 2 other starters coming out there, and then Josh Hart too, man.
And maybe Obi Randle. Who knows? Who knows, baby? Let's go. You never know.
I'm so ready for this series. I'm so ready for this series. I just want to get started. You know what I mean? Like let's get to see actual footage of this on Saturday, and I'm excited to see what the Garden's going to be like on Game 3.
Is it crazy that I'm hella optimistic about Tom Thibodeau?
Yes.
I know JL is not being pissed right now. Like, I'm really confident.
I've gotten in arguments with you just based on the fact that you're super optimistic after you've been screaming fire tapes for like 2 months.
He's turned a
And I'm just
corner,
like,
man.
no.
Well, he changed. He changed.
He has.
Nah, he deserves
He
credit. He
has.
deserves credit.
No, he
deserves
deserves credit. He
He
does
does.
deserve credit. Because I'm not saying he doesn't deserve credit. That's a whole nother conversation. So
Since the All-Star game, the Knicks have 4 players averaging more than 19 points per game.
Damn. Who are they?
that's
George?
crazy.
And
That's a
RJ's
crazy
the one,
stat.
19.3. Quickly's averaging 21.
Quickly has to
Brunson's
be one for sure.
24.3, and Julius 26.5.
Awesome.
Just something
That's crazy.
hard coming to the team. Just it made the team click finally.
Yeah.
He was like that last ingredient in whatever the dough, whatever. And he woke up RJ defensively. RJ's been markedly better defensively since the All-Star break. Nothing great, but just better. He was just becoming a complete eyesore. It was driving everybody crazy. So he's improved there. The shooting has gone crazy. Everyone except for RJ. And well, even Obi's only shooting 33% since the All-Star break, but he's recently recaptured his 3-point shot.
Yeah.
And he was injured and rusty too for a little bit,
Obi?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did have an
Like
he had that
Yeah,
injury a little bit.
like he's like now he's flowing, man. Obi's been fantastic on
He's
offense.
flowing beautifully now.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely. He's
but-
been adding
but
stuff
the
to
real-
his game.
Okay, here's a question. Sorry, JLS, if I ask this question,
Sure.
I want to ask you, JLS.
Let's go.
If a player has a breakout series for the Knicks, who do you think it'll be?
Ooh.
Who do I think it'll be?
Yeah.
Oh,
Based on
I
where we're
feel
at
like-
right now,
listen,
the
I'm-
trending, everything we've been seeing.
oh, I have 2 players in mind off the rip. 2 players in mind.
Okay.
Is to me it's Quickly and Grimes, man. It's Quickly and
Yep.
Quickly.
Yep.
Yep.
Quickly has
Two.
already been ascending. I told you I made the first overreaction video on Quickly last year when I said he must start after one preseason game. All right, I've been in the Quickly high for a
We should
long
drop a
time.
poll.
Huh?
I want to see what the chat says. So shout out to the chat. Everybody hit
Yeah.
the thumbs
That's-
up button.
Thumbs
Shout
up
out
for
to
your
the chat.
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, subscribe.
I think
I'm
Huge
curious
I
what
just
the
think
chat
the
thinks.
way that he manages the game, the way that he passes, the way that he gets to his floater, and also what's kind of gone on the radar is the way that he's added like a mid-range jumper to his game. He's added like a mid-range jumper to his game, and he's also kind of copy pasted Jalen Brunson's kind of fadeaway
The
mid-range.
turnaround fade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, like he'll have a count.
He's
Like
hitting
he
it at a
copied
crazy
all Jalen
volume.
Brunson's counters. I don't know if you guys are noticing that because Jalen Brunson has a counter, right? Where he'll drive, and if you caught off the drive, he'll spin back and do the fadeaway. Quickly started doing the same thing, and I just think the game is sincerely slowed down for them ever since the Celtics game, and I want to see him do good, but a part of me also is scared that he might do too good, and then he's gonna command like $60,000 a year or something.
60 million.
And of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
We gotta keep him. We gotta keep Quickly. But for me, it's Grimes. It's Quentin Grimes. I saw tweeted a couple of weeks ago, I think, that my second favorite player on the team after Brunson. But just the way he plays the game, plays so smart. Same jumper every time. If you're contesting him or not, it's the same movement. He's decisive. And once he hits a couple of contested threes, which he 100% will, they're gonna, they'll play even tighter, and then we get to see that incredible first step that no one can predict. I think, there's so many weapons, like George keeps saying, there's so many weapons that they really have to deal with. And Grimes, they're not taking anything lightly. I don't think they think he's an afterthought, but I think, we've seen what Grimes did summer league. You saw what Grimes did in that rookie game. I know it doesn't matter, but we've seen Grimes show, and even recently, just in the last few games, we've seen him show what he can do, what he can be. I want him with the ball more, right? I hope over the playoffs he proves himself, because I want Quentin Grimes with the basketball.
Ooh.
I agree.
Stephen Bondi just tweeted out the Cavs are expecting Julius Randle to play.
Okay. He's like, we're not falling for the open
Now we
door.
don't play him.
Right, Ryan, who do you think, who's your guy?
Now you pull him back.
My guy is Grimes because with IQ, I think people expect IQ to really perform like he's been performing well like since the All-Star break. So I think if IQ has breakout performances, I think it's to be expected. So I think the one guy that's really been on a hot streak as of late is Grimes, and I would expect him out of anybody like to have those breakout games where going into the playoffs he's going to carry that hot streak and continue to knock in shots and play good defense on the defensive end.
He's low key one of the huge X factors, man. I feel like he's X factor. I feel like Mitch pick and roll defense with Grimes has been a staple for us earlier, and for us to get back to the defensive prominence, they're gonna have to get it together. I feel like those guys are X factor. This is a lot of little X factors. Josh Hart is another one who, like you said, has made our bench playable. We were negative before All-Star break when our bench until Josh Hart got here. Now he had the 4th best net rating in the NBA with Josh Hart on the bench. There's a lot. The center position with Hartenstein. There's a lot, man. There's a lot.
Because we've been playing a 9-man rotation. Yes. 9-man rotation. We've been in playoff mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Teams are going to adjust the rotations and they'll be playing certain lineups way more minutes than they ever have. We're doing the same thing we've done for months. Obviously, there'll be some adjustment, you know what I mean? But we're used to this, right? We've already seen games where, you know, some guys like RJ hardly played because someone else was playing well. So I feel like we're so used to the kind of basketball we're about to be playing for the next 2 months. We'll see how far we go. But I'm excited. Like I said, I want the series to start. These guys are ready. You saw what Josh Hart said. He's ready for Saturday. Quickly, they look confident. Mitch, I love that interview where tied to your attitude, George, where he said they were talking about the big man. I think it was Bondi, right? And Mitch said, we got guys too. He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Sleeping on Nintendo.
I'm gonna okay. So for my guy, and it's predicated on Randle not playing the first 2 or 3 games. I think it could be Obi Toppin.
Let's go.
I like that.
It just breaks out. We win those first 2 at Cleveland, come back, steal game 3, and then we are 3-0.
Hell yeah.
And Cleveland's just shitting their pants. You know, and Obi just breaks out. He's just 30 and 8. And, you know, he's shooting, 42% from the 3-point line. And he's life insane for the 2 bigs there. You know, he basically plays the best of what Randle gives you when he's just lighting up from beyond and then driving. And but he will have to distribute the ball a little more. That's one thing that Obi doesn't necessarily do, but it's been picking up a little bit, his assists here and there, and definitely the rebounding. But if Obi gets, he's going to get the chance to have a breakout moment here. And like Clyde said, you make your name in the playoffs, in the regular season, but you make your fame in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And these
Obi
guys
has
want
the
it.
most
Remember,
game.
Obi's playing for a contract.
Yeah, he does.
IQ's playing for a contract.
Yeah,
Obi has the
yeah.
most
The
game.
season
IQ
could not have ended better for him. The season,
Not a
perfect end to the season for Obi. Obviously, he didn't want to see Randle get hurt, but Obi gets his confidence up, gets good minutes, shows a lot, expands his game a little bit. Yeah, I'm excited.
We're so used to looking at the negatives of our players. Oh, well, Obi doesn't. But we got to look at Obi has superior abilities in other areas that other guys can't even match. Other bigs can't match, and we got to lean into that. And if he does, if he's on, speed. I loved how he came out first game, fired a 3-pointer, hit it. I think that was the Cleveland game, right? He just said, it's sorry about Kurt, but he's just like nailed it. The first shot.
He said he was going to do it too. Listen, I think they'll leave him more open than they should. Actually, I could see Obi, stretching the floor, pulling Mobley out a little bit. Yeah, it'll be Obi. Listen, he's coming in on the kind of form he's coming in on, and like you said, the contract stuff for him.
If he gets to start. If Randle does return, then it's going to be a whole different thing. Then
12 minutes.
And I think Grimes is going to have more of the opportunity, and you're right about IQ. He has already really established himself. I think for IQ to have a breakout, he'd have to like average 30, in the series and just completely, which he's crazy like that. He maybe 30 is a little hard, but in terms of his efficiencies, he's just shooting 50% from the 3 and just killing everybody inside in the paint and just disrupting on the perimeter defensively, just holding down Garland, making his life insane. Same with LeVert. then you're like, wow, this guy's turned. And we have several guys that we can choose from. That's why I think this team is so deep and can be really dangerous.
We got a lot of points. We got like if you look through our roster, you could see Grimes get 25 if he gets really hot. You can see Quickly get 25 for sure.
Any given night.
You can see obviously Brunson, obviously Randle, and you could even see RJ. If RJ just has one of those games where he's getting downhill, possibly. I'm not really counting on that, but still, we got enough guys. Josh Hart can go crazy from three. Like Obi, like we have so many guys that can give us, just put points on the board. And for Cleveland, obviously top end talent, top four guys, there's a lot there. But they just don't have a lot of shot creation. If Donovan Mitchell isn't just insane, and funny enough, right, that game where we beat them, where Brunson dropped 48. If you look at what Donovan Mitchell shot that game, he's not going to shoot that in the playoffs. Like that was like Brunson obviously scored more points, but Brunson missed a lot more. It was a lot more even. Donovan Mitchell's shooting in that game was completely unsustainable and not something I think we'd even see. And we took that punch and we still beat them by like 130 to 116. But like by the fourth quarter, once we just started pushing on the gas, they just couldn't keep up. Like it genuinely just felt like
that was the beauty of Brunson.
Yeah,
he
so
answered back. He kept answering back.
He will answer back. That's huge, right? One of the big things I think Brunson has brought to us as a franchise just this season is there's so many games in the past decade where we're playing some other team and their star is just kind of hot and he's going off and we just can't respond. And they get to 8-point lead, right? Brunson all season long, if he'll rise to the occasion of who he needs to rise to the occasion for. And I think he's licking his lips at this matchup. I think he's excited for it. I think he's very confident against Donovan Mitchell. I think he's gonna, he plays with a chip on his shoulder generally.
Donovan's gonna get his points.
He'll get his points, but I think Jalen's gonna
a ton of points.
A ton of points. But Jalen's gonna be he's gonna look to match him as much as he can.
You touched on something interesting. I don't think it's just about the shot creation. It's about output ability.
Yes.
Cleveland depends so much on that backcourt every single game. One of those two guys is going to be on the court. The same way their front court is not the split minutes and stagger, the backcourt is too. And that's going to take a toll. We have shots coming from everywhere. Especially even defensively. I think our defensive rating is overrated because we put out a lineup of IQ, Grimes, Hart, Randle, and Mitch. Who are you hunting on mismatches? Nobody. There's no weak link there. That's a lockdown defensive five. So we have a capabilities of being really potent on both sides of the ball, where Cleveland depends so much on their front court to clean up defensive miscues and so much on their back court to carry the scoring load offensively.
Yeah. I feel like Donovan Mitchell last game got a lot of his points, pretty much hitting bomb step back threes off the dribble. Ones. And you're not going to be able to do that for 4 quarters. And so it's like it got to a point where it's like, all right, either hitting the bomb 3-pointers off the dribble or he's breaking us down, he's getting into the paint, and we were able to cheat because they don't have no shooters. We was able to cheat, poke the ball away, and contain them that way. Now it might be a little bit different now with Jarrett Allen there. There might be more of a lob threat there, but that's why we have Mitch to take care of that stuff. You know what I mean? So I feel like we match up well. I feel like it's going to be a good series, but I feel like ultimately the Knicks are going to win, man.
Yep.
What else I can say?
Let's go.
We're going. Yes, sir.
No, Jalen just called it. That's it. It's done.
Yeah.
Now we just got to watch it.
Yeah, now we gotta watch
now,
it.
y'all laughed at me. Y'all laughed at me when I said finals. How far can this team go? Because I genuinely believe in my heart, if things go right, I think we can go to the finals this year. I had that in the spirit in 99. Man, the vibes are high right now. If it's a perfect storm, I really don't see a team outside the Bucks. But I really think Chris Middleton's not. There's something there. He's not playing to an all-star ability. They're beatable. And there's really not a dominant dynasty out there right now. I think we could go to the finals. I'm not going as far as a championship, but I do think we could go to the finals.
The Bucks still worry me, man. The Bucks still worry me. I'm not sure if the Knicks. I'm not sure if the Knicks can get by the Bucks in a second round series, but it's one of those things where it's like, if the Knicks play out of their mind, there's a chance for them to knock out the Bucks. But I think the Bucks are too strong for the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks are there as of yet, but I can definitely see them getting to the second round. I can at least see them going past the Cavaliers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the importance of seeding, right? Like we'll see next season. I'm excited to see, even if it's the same group largely, how much we can win next year. Because if we were playing Boston, then I'm like, then I don't feel that scared about the second
Same.
round, right? I wouldn't be that scared. I don't know. The Bucks are a lot. I feel like Giannis is gonna have this kind of series where we're gonna hate him forever after the series. Just like
That's fair.
and it's we're not. I think we gotta get to the second round and lose, and then I think you see the full onslaught of what this next era is gonna be. But you know what, Lee? I can't lie, man. I can't lie. I tweeted a couple weeks ago too. Why not us? I'm getting the vibe of like, yo, we have like nine. We got the next play. Like we have 9 guys who make $20 million a year. That's how we pay. Like everyone on the roster is a guy who makes like in the new NBA makes between like 15 and 20 million a year. Obviously, guys like Randle, Brunson worth more. But like everybody there, you could almost see a justification of if not worth that now, worth that very soon. So we're just so solid. Those guys have been. We can't downplay familiarity. Just with the rotation, with those guys playing together with that group, with never having a complete 5 swap because we play 9 guys only. And then George, you brought up Juice. We might see Juice for those spot minutes, last minute of like the second quarter.
I think we're gonna need him in the Cleveland series.
Maybe a couple minutes. Juice can.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And he's consistent. If Juice plays for 3 minutes a game, you're gonna get in those 3 minutes, right? So we have so many weapons to just toss at them. We got counters, but like Brunson, we got counters for everything.
I'll entertain your notion, Lee.
Let's go.
First, we're talking about we beat the Cavs handedly, because I think if we go 7 games against the Cavs and still win, we're not getting.
I agree.
But if we beat the Cavs, pretty much the way we've been kind of discussing here, outlining within 6, I think we can do it in 5. But let's say we do it in 6 and we beat them like we beat them. To beat the Bucks, we need a roughed up Middleton, and maybe he doesn't even play. Someone else off that bench, either Allen or Connaughton or whoever else, one of those, the others. Another one of the others has to go down. If the others one of the others go down, or just has a terrible series, which is almost the same thing.
Bobby Portis
is even better. Bobby Portis.
Yeah.
Actually, he has been, I think, a little bit hampered by injury as well. If they're compromised,
I think that's when you get in trouble.
then
man.
and RJ recaptures his 3-point shot, and it doesn't leave us. It doesn't leave him. Like he goes on a roll, on one of those like 30-day rolls that we've seen, and we've seen him do it throughout 4 years.
Yep.
He's done it, and he's got the mental makeup to be able to do it in the playoffs. If he does that, we know what Grimes is going to do. We know what all the other guys are going to do, and they're going to keep getting better. These guys, when they're put in those pressure position situations, and if they thrive and they get the momentum of a nice Cavs series win, going to roll into it. They're going to be dangerous. The Bucks they're not going to want to play us, especially if they're compromised. And let's say we get lucky, and those things fall into place, and we get past the Bucks.
Too much falling.
Then we're facing Celtics.
It's an equinox.
Celtics,
the same time as the lunar eclipse.
Or Sixers.
And then RJ shoots 68% from 3 at the same time.
But you see, that's the thing though. Like, too many things have to go right for the Knicks to get by the Bucks.
Yeah,
too many things have to go right.
But it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
I think only one thing's got to go right. RJ Barrett has to meet control.
There you go.
RJ is the X factor. If RJ is averaging 23, 24 a game on efficient shooting splits, we're done in the finals. It don't matter what anyone else does.
Because he'll get them in foul trouble.
RJ does.
RJ has gotten Milwaukee in foul trouble in the past. I'm not talking necessarily this year, but in the past, it's possible, and Brunson and Holiday kind of neutralized themselves. Randle and Giannis kind of neutralized themselves. And then we got to deal with Lopez, figure out how to deal with him. There'll be an issue.
Yeah. Mitch doesn't like those. But Lee, you know what?
A lot has to go right, and we get lucky. We get past them. Then we have the Celtics and Sixers, most likely. At that point, I will feel confident that we could get over the hump of one of those two teams if we beat the Bucks. So then you're right. So the whole key is beating the Bucks. We beat the Bucks. We're in the finals. There you go.
It's just four steps. That's it. With the first round, the second round, third round. That's it.
That's all that has to happen.
That's it. You know what, though, Lee? I'll say this. We discussed a lot of X factors, right? We discussed S factors, different matchups. It's kind of funny because it really does boil down to RJ, right? In a way, like you're right. If RJ, again, another player where our expectations are pretty low to the point where, we're just hoping he plays good defense, gives us 17 points per game, at least hits 36% from three. We'd feel like, okay, that's enough that's enough what we need. But if RJ goes on one of these runs and he's done it so many times, he just can't keep it up consistently. And he was on one this year prior to his injury, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hoping, he
Before
kind of
the
worked
hand.
his way out of his funk. I liked a lot of what he did 10 this season, not the shooting at all, but a lot of things here and there looked good. Some of it's just creation, good finishing. Hopefully he gets out of the sub. I think he had 1-3 in the last game.
Yeah, after missing 11.
Yeah, I
in a
saw
row.
you. Yeah, I just was really happy he hit at least one. So if he just comes in and just goes on one of these runs that he's done before, our ceiling as a team just changes.
Yes.
And he can do it. He can do it, man. So listen, the playoff is what do you say, Lee? The playoff is where what's made?
Clyde said, yeah.
Oh, Clyde said it?
You
Yeah,
your
Clyde
fame.
said it, not me.
Your fame,
I wish I
Look,
said
RJ,
Where
this
fame is
season
made.
went
There
to
you
the free
go.
throw line 8.5 times against the Bucks per game. The next highest was Brunson, 7.7. So RJ, he does get in the teeth of that defense. And he's just got to make the shots. I mean, he shot 47%, and he was shooting shitty from the 3-point line, only 27% against the Bucks from the 3-point line. So he was definitely efficient within the arc. What was he averaging? He was almost 52%.
Yeah, it's funny. We almost beat the Bucks before, and this is when me and Lee got into our fire tips argument. This is one of the biggest ones I keep remembering. We almost beat the Bucks before, but our bench got in the game, and then we got smacked up when the bench got in the game in the fourth quarter. And Josh Hart, joining the bench might change that reality. So, Josh Hart being on the team could actually be the X factor outside of. For me, I'm scared to bet my life on RJ going on a hot streak from three, and I'm more comfortable thinking, all right, maybe a collective of Hart and Grimes hitting the three, and RJ kind of going inside and being a bully in there. Maybe that collection could help go over the Bucks. But
Yeah,
to
that's
me,
another-
it's
that's
still a
another
lot.
scenario
There's
how that
still a
could
lot of
happen. Yeah.
Equinox, Solar Eclipse,
lot of-
Unicorn, Loch Ness Monster at 3 a.m.
I'm gonna have to go
stuff
to my
going on.
Santeria,
beat the
Wichita, make little dolls of the Bucks.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Budenhauser's gonna get a terrible stomach cramp. Giannis.
we got to go to the dark arts to beat them.
Yeah, the dark arts. We need the dark arts here.
Brujeria.
That's the X factor. The dark arts.
My man.
Oh man. The good thing is though, just on that RJ point, really quickly, the Knicks can win this series without a great RJ. I think RJ being great changes the playoffs, right? It
Yes.
changes our overall ceiling. But what's good about this team, and I think Josh Hart, that changed the bench, he changed everything for us. Just the fact that you can just plug him in, you can just replace him with RJ in the clutch. And you're getting, you're elevating your base level of play so much by having Josh Hart out there. I noticed when he first joined the team, and even now, he just deferred. He deferred. You watch him on the perimeter, he's patient. He's letting guys get to their spots, right? And then when he's ready to attack, when he goes to the rim, he's like LeBron. He's like LeBron of layups.
Yeah, it's almost
So,
a bucket.
Yeah, he's a bucket every time. He's great technique. He lays it up close to the backboard, so there's not enough opportunity to block it. So we see what he does against the Twin Towers. But so like I said before, if RJ just not doing what he's supposed to do, he's gonna play 50 minutes a game, and you're gonna see Josh Hart play the entire second half right? With Grimes coming in a lot, quickly coming in a lot.
Look what you're saying, man. We got options now.
We got options.
I
We
mean,
got so
that's
many
something-
options. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
had, like, if something's not going right, like if Grimes isn't hitting his shot, we're gonna see more IQ.
Yeah.
In that two.
Oh no, more IQ.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, Thibs is the biggest factor. If Thibs
I agree.
does his
Yeah, yeah.
usual, sticks to his guns, will ride or die with Randle no matter what, even when he's, turning the ball over and he's 1 for 8 from the 3-point line and he still keeps going. We're not going to win. We're not
Nope.
gonna win. He's going to have to manage each game to win that game, regardless of egos and any other
Yes.
issues whatsoever. And he has the tools to do it this time. Like in the years past, when you didn't have Reggie Bullock out there or Alec Burks, we took a hit defensively, majorly. Now, so Grimes isn't delivering from the 3-point line or he's not making buckets. We got Hart. We
Yeah.
got IQ. We got
Yeah.
Deuce.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
But if he sticks to his template coaching, but that's the beauty of what he's done lately, and he deserves all the praise
Agreed.
for making this change in his approach. And it's the only reason we're here. If he had kept doing it the same old way, we would have been.
He's about to get fired. Like he was literally about to get fired. This
I know.
season really.
I put out several videos.
Yes. I think like me and my mom, we hadn't done a video for like 2 months, and the last video we did was like fire Tibbs. And then during the 2 months we didn't do a video, everything turned around. But yeah, he was right there. He was right there. So props to him. I don't judge people too harshly. I love when I see people make an effort. And
Yeah.
he certainly has, especially later in his career. He deserves the credit for it's not he's a
changed.
stubborn guy. And he changed. He changed.
Well,
He's seeing.
the beauty was that he finally understood that his guys like Quickly and Grimes were not thriving offensively because they weren't getting enough minutes on the floor.
Yep.
Quickly needed to play at least 25 minutes a game. And he started doing that. He started trying to find those minutes for Quickly, and then he started finding his touch. He started then learning from Brunson, time to experiment stuff.
Yeah.
The first time he did the turnaround, the Jalen Brunson turnaround, it wasn't necessarily great, but he kept doing it. And now he's lethal with it.
Yeah.
And so that's the shout out to Thibs. He realized, you know what, I got these young guys. They need burn. It's the only way they're going to reach their potential, uncork their potential, unleash it, whatever you want to say. And he did it, and he got rewarded for it. And he deserves all the praise for what the Knicks.
Bench
what the Knicks
Fournier
are.
and his security blanket, Derrick Rose. Didn't see that coming in a million years. Didn't see it. Yeah.
Yep.
But great show,
Facts.
guys. Great show. Next, it's just time to get to the game, man. It's just time to get to the game.
Yeah, it's time to get to the game. It's time to get to the game, man. Oh my God. I can't remember. I don't remember ever analyzing any series. Obviously, I must have when I was younger, but I can't remember just thinking about any series as much as this one since I was like a kid, before in the 90s. But we're ready. I think the Knicks fans are ready. But I guess I was just riding high that season. The whole season just felt like, I can't believe this is happening. And then once it started crashing down, it was rough. But now I think we know what we have. We've seen what we have,
It's
right?
sustainable.
We know that this is a chance this team is better than the most optimistic fan thinks right now. Because the way they've been playing, if you're objectively looking at this team, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And they're a playoff type of team. Not one of these like regular season front runners that just like the Hawks a few years ago when they they were just like on fire, they were just on point, they won all those games. This team is like consistently fixed problems, address them, gotten better, fixed, addressed, gotten better. And now we end the season where the young guys are all killing it. We got rest for some of the older guys, and these guys are coming in really fresh physically. At least we'll see how the injury stuff works. And I even like that we're on the road first. I actually really like that we get to go on the road and get over the series hype. Because game one, I can see game one, the first quarter just looking kind of crazy, right? The crowd is going to be out there. You'll see some nervousness, stuff like that. But by the time we get back to the Garden, I think we'll be fully into the series. I think we just take off from there.
Yeah.
I mean,
We got to get one of the first two. We got to get one of the first two.
You make a great point about the experience in the playoffs. Cleveland doesn't have other than Donovan Mitchell. Cleveland doesn't really have experience in the playoffs.
yeah, they're
So they
playing.
can't lean on that. So they're going to be just as rattled as our guys. But our guys actually do have some experience in the playoffs. RJ definitely has. IQ's got it. OB Brunson, tremendous run last season. Randle had a terrible experience in the playoffs. So he'll be wanting to make good on that. And then there's Thibs. So I think we have we'll be a little calmer, a little more centered as a team than the Cavs possibly. It just feels like it's moving towards that direction.
And I think we might not have a superstar on the team that the rest of the NBA, there's my delusional ass who thinks Randall and Brunson are superstars. But the one thing that I think most people agree on, we do have a superstar in clutch time. Jalen Brunson's a superstar in the last 2 minutes of a game. Yep. I think all of us would agree on that. Julius Randle offensively is not. Jalen Brunson is.
Yeah. I'm waiting for him to get his Garden moment clutch basket at the buzzer. Like, it's funny. He's been really good in the clutch, but he hasn't had that shot like that.
Not yet, baby.
It's coming. It's
not yet. Let's go.
Yes.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting.
This
for
is
that
it.
to happen, man.
He's ready. He's ready. Lee, I love that you brought that up. Just something I've thought about all season. It's like whatever you think of Jalen Brunson's ranking in the league, looking at points per game, whatever. He's gonna get better and better. His stats are gonna start looking ridiculous. Watch this guy. He's not close. I think he's gonna keep improving. He has that demeanor. But
next year, I feel like he can average like 26, 27 in a game next season.
Yep, agreed.
Yep. What I see as well is I see his assists going up. I think he's gonna become a better playmaker too, because he won't have to do as much as we improve as well. But we'll see. But still, when it comes to Brunson, right? It comes to that fourth quarter. It comes to the last 5 minutes. I trust him with the basketball.
Me too.
I don't care. There are better players that I would not want with the ball in that situation around the league. When Jalen Brunson has it, I'm good with whatever happens because I know what he can do. I know he's not going to freeze up. I know he wants the moment. He's patient, which is huge in the clutch. He's very patient. And he's so fundamental, right? He goes to what he knows. And like I said, I feel like with his footwork and the way he thinks about the game and gets into the paint and gets busy, if he gets to where he needs to get and he plants his 2 feet there, it doesn't matter who's around him. He's done it a million times. His ability to vary the arc on his floater, depending on the defender, is insane. You see them. His touch is ridiculous. I think he's made for the playoffs. I think he's going to show a lot in this first series. He's going to show the NBA, I'm him. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Since I've been watching the Knicks, I have not felt comfortable really with any player in the 20 years that I've been a fan, 23 years now. Brunson is the first guy with the Knicks jersey that I trust 100%. Carmelo, when it was crunch time, and I'm a huge Melo fan, but in my head, I was already building a narrative of why he missed a shot, trying to come up with an excuse because I knew my dad was going to kill him if he missed a game winner. Brunson, I'm already seeing the celebration. I'm projecting it in my head what that shot's going to look like, and it's going in.
Yeah, it's almost shocking.
Or he's getting fouled. He's getting fouled. Like that, man. I want to see him when he gets the ball late. They're going to be in trouble. George, you said it.
Yep.
They're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble.
And the Grimes thing, like, it's funny because I feel like, in the beginning of the season, people were ragging on him because he wasn't giving up the ball enough in crunch time. But we also sucked at shooting threes. But like the way the guys are shooting right now and how great Brunson is in the ISO, I feel like this is going to make us even more dangerous. Like this new Grimes and IQ now with Brunson in crunch time, I feel like it's going to be even more dangerous for us. This is a lot more options. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Let's get this playoffs going, man. Let's get it going.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's end the show right here. All right, good talk, guys. We talked about everything under the sun. Next show is Saturday, man. Next show we'll be here. KOT post game on Saturday. So check it out. Me, Lee, Ryan G. But also I'm pretty sure George is going to do one. Definitely check out George's channel. It's pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure he's going to do his as well. And shout out to NYK Terry and Trey, who's gonna usually have their breakdowns as well. They all do great work. So I implore you to definitely check out their channels. I'm pretty sure you guys knew who they were before they came here.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't know, then I don't know. I don't know where the hell y'all been. All right. All right. That is our show. And also, y'all welcome to come back whenever. But yeah, right.
For sure, man. It was glad to finally tap in. I know I've been meaning to do it for a while, so it's been great to come talk to you guys. I think we're ready. Let's go.
Let's go.
Next 1-0. Let's go. Next 1-0.
We ready. You know, Terry's one of my OG favorites. You already know that. All right. That's the show. That is the show. George, let them know where we can find you.
Yeah, Into the Knicks Verse YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. You do a recap of almost every game. Definitely we'll be doing, might be going live for the post games, especially if there were like exciting wins.
Yeah.
Might as well go live.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's put out some analytical videos, especially once there'll be plenty of days in between the games. I think the second game is on Tuesday. So there's lots of time there. So I will be dropping some more analytical videos and do some lives, and would love to have you guys on as well. Into the Knicks Verse.
Yeah, definitely look out. We're gonna be doing some collabs with George in the future. So definitely gonna look out with that. I know one of the fans was like, "Yo, I watch you and I watch George." He's like, "Y'all need to do
Definitely overlap. Definitely overlap between our two audiences.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of overlap. Yeah. NY. Yo, why I'm calling you NY? I'm telling you your Twitter way. Terry, let them know.
I'm new because I'm New York to the furthest, man. Yeah, what's up? NYK, Terry, and Trey, me and my mom. We're dropping a preview tomorrow on the Cavs series, and we're gonna be at every game in the Garden. We were close to going to Cleveland. We thought about it too, but we said if it's Game 7. And I have to sell a kidney or something. If it's Game 7 in Cleveland, I think we might go. But we're gonna be at the Garden. We're probably gonna be at the Garden for every game in the first round. So we'll be doing a lot of shows from the Garden, showing the madness. We're gonna get I know there's gonna be a crazy video that comes out about Knicks fans after that Friday night game. But I'm excited for the energy, excited for playoff basketball at the Garden. So check us out. Check out our channel. And again, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to get Mounts on. Yeah. Yeah, get Trey.
Yeah. She was out at Lincoln Center doing some fancy stuff tonight. But I'm gonna make sure we tap in for the playoffs for sure.
Got you. Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a whole lot. It's fun. We did an episode with you and your moms a long time ago. And I wish we handled the episode differently. It's like, man, I need to have y'all back and do it better. But but yeah, definitely. All right. Ryan G, let them know where you can find you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is chilling.
Sir G is chilling.
That's SIRG is CHILLIN. You can also find me at Sir G's Corner. You can also find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. And I want to say thank you for George, Terry, and Danny B, who left a bit earlier, for coming onto the show. Everyone provided wonderful insight, and I hope y'all come back on the show. We definitely, y'all definitely were a good look tonight, and I definitely enjoy y'all being on the show.
Facts.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah.
You know where to find Lee. Search Bum and Knicks on Twitter.
My guy. Man, this has been great. This is like I felt a kid in a candy store being able to talk Knicks with some of like the brightest people I know, content creators. I'm lucky enough to share a stage with two of them, and Ryan G and Jay Ellis. So major props to Jay Ellis for having the kind of platform that encourages collaboration. This was an idea that I had to have an adventures team up, and he was all about it. Ryan was all about it. So it's been really great. And a special shout out to my main man, George, because when I was looking at podcasts, I didn't see another Latino guy talking about the Knicks on YouTube, and I saw him, and it encouraged me to the game. So I always have a lot of love and admiration for George and Into the Knicks verse. So, and Terry, I've written about you too, brother. So you and your mom, you always did it with me. I just really loved sharing the stage and rooting for the Knicks together. Knicks and Sits, baby. We're doing the finals.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a world.
Okay.
Love it.
All right, man. You already know. Find us at the KOT Show on Twitter.
That's Ryan.
Instagram, Nick of Time Show, or Facebook. Find us everywhere. Just Google the Knick of Time Show. you'll find us. All right. Somebody ordered a KOT snapback. Hope you got it. Hope you enjoy it. And it's coming. I don't think I got the tracking on it, but hope you enjoy that. All right, cool. Like I said, we'll be back. We'll be back Saturday. And shoot, maybe we'll be back with Darren Drake. He said they might want to come on with us. Well, who knows? But we'll see. We'll be back. All right, that is our show. We out of here. And as always,
shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's our show. We out this.
Peace.
Peace.
All right.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.